In the early 20th century, we knew that each nerve cells carry electrical signals, but we didn't know how the nerve cells in our body communicate with each other. In 1913, British scientist Henry Dale discovered the first chemical acetylcholine, which functions as a neurotransmitter in our brain. He did an experiment on cats where he injected them with acetylcholine, which resulted in a decrease in their heart rate. He realized that chemicals can interrupt the nerve impulse responsible for a heartbeat. In 1921, German scientist Otto Loi helped us make sense of Dale's findings when he did his experiment with two frog hearts. Loi put the first frog in a chamber with saline solution, and he electrically stimulated the nerve that controlled the heartbeat, also known as vagus nerve, and this slowed down the heartbeat of the frog. He placed the second frog in a chamber and connected with the first chamber, and this resulted in some of the saline solutions from the first chamber to move into the second chamber. He found that the second frog's heartbeat also slowed down, but with a delayed response. He concluded that the nerve that controls the heartbeat released a chemical which resulted in slowing down the contraction of the heart muscle, and this chemical was a neurotransmitter. Today we know it as acetylcholine. Dale and Loi won the Nobel Prize in 1936 for their contribution. Major depressive disorder or clinical depression is a severe form of depression that is common in adults between the age of 18 to 64 years old. To be diagnosed with clinical depression, one needs to have a minimum of 5 depressive symptoms such as anxiety, sadness, anger, and suicidal thoughts for 2 weeks. The initial discovery of neurotransmitters has paved the way for development of antidepressant drugs that can relieve the symptoms of clinical depression. Iproniazid was the first ever antidepressant. The discovery of it was accidental. It was first used as a drug for treating tuberculosis, but during the experiment, they found the mood of the participant changed drastically. Unfortunately, this drug resulted in chronic liver diseases, which caused it to be removed from the market. People with depression have reduction in the concentration of monoamine neurotransmitters like serotonin, dopamine, and norepinephrine. The first class of drugs that were developed as antidepressants were monoamine oxidase inhibitors. These drugs inhibit breakdown of neurotransmitters, thus increasing the availability of those neurotransmitters. In 1974, researchers designed another class of drugs, which are selective serotoninergic uptake inhibitors for the treatment of clinical depression, but they too showed some side effects. Researchers have designed more class of drugs for antidepressant, but each class have different side effects. So, doctors need to prescribe antidepressant drugs based on the specific symptoms of patients. We have learned a lot about our nervous system from first discovery of neurotransmitters that helped develop various antidepressants.
Created using Powtoon.